Antoine Verglas was born and raised in Paris, where he made his start as a model for TV commercials. He began hosting a TV show called 5 sur 5 for teenagers, presenting video clips, movie trailers, and interviewing celebrities such as Sharon Stone. Antoine started taking photographs of his then college girlfriend, a Ford model, Catherine Annell. In 1990, he moved with her to New York City. In the 1990s, Antoine introduced a new style of fashion photography when he captured models Stephanie Seymour, Claudia Schiffer, and Cindy Crawford in a series of intimate, uninhibited documentary-style photographs that ran in several international editions of Elle magazine. Prior to that, fashion editorials were highly poised. Antoine's photographs were more candid, with natural lighting. This intimate style of capturing a personality has become known as the Verglas signature, which is highly sought after to this day by all top fashion magazines. Through the years, Antoine went on to a very successful career in commercial photography, creating images for Victoria's Secret, Revlon, and Maybelline, as well as magazines such as Vogue, Elle, Maxim, Sports Illustrated, GQ, and oh yeah, Playboy. He now spends his time between St. Barth, Paris, Montauk, and New York City. Ladies and gentlemen, Antoine Verglas.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it.
It's a great time to be in Vancouver. It's really fun.
When did you first pick up your first camera?
It's more in my late teens, early 20s. I had a Swedish girlfriend who was really pretty and doing modeling, and I started to take pictures with her. That's how it all started, you know. I was always interested in fashion magazine, always looking at, you know, at the time being French, living in Paris, it was French Elle, French Marie Claire, French Vogue, 20 ans. It was a bunch of magazines I was looking at, and then, you know, I said, wow. I started to take pictures with my girlfriend. I said, wow, this is not so bad. And because I had a culture of photography and always looking, I just experienced myself, and I learned on the ground, you know, with her.
So what brought you from Paris over to New York?
Because I followed love, you know. She was doing so well that she had a big contract in New York. She had to go to New York. I said, you know what, I'm gonna come with you, and I'm gonna do a story on top models, asking them questions about, you know, what's their favorite hotspot, their favorite vacation, their astro signs, their best restaurants, and take intimate pictures of them. And thanks to a French girl that I knew, whose name was Estelle, she was pretty famous at the time, you know, doing all the covers of Vogue and so on. I met the person who was running Elite at the time, who was working with John Casablanca, Monique Pilar. Monique Pilar helped me. I went and see French Elle and French Photo, and I was trying to do a reportage on that. It took me 3 months to gather images of Linda Evangelista, Cindy Crawford, Stephanie Seymour, Claudia Schiffer. I mean, and it took me, yeah, it was a good group. It took me a good 4 months, and it was different than what was happening at the time, you know. Instead of bringing a team with hair, makeup, and making them extremely glamorous, I did the opposite. I took them extremely natural, basically getting out of bed, even rolling in a bed, or getting out of a shower, or being just laying in a sofa. Pretty, how can I say, very candid, you know, like a boyfriend would take pictures of his girlfriend. So that was the idea, and French Elle loved it, and then they published it, and I started to work pretty much after that.
Nice. You started off just a guy with a camera, and then you go to shooting major campaigns.
Yeah, but it takes time. First, it does not happen in one day. You know, it's a long process, and you know, it's hours of waiting to meet the right people. You have to be patient. It did not happen in one day. But I must say I got pretty lucky. My move to New York was a good one. You know, sometimes you are there at the right place at the right moment, and it's true that for me that's what happened at the time. You know, and so I feel very fortunate that it worked pretty well. You know.
When was the moment, or you knew that, hey, I can make a living at this?
it's a good question because I never thought I would make it sufficiently enough to live from just photography, you know. So I always did different things at the same time, but there has been a period where the photography business was pretty lucrative for photographers who were working at a certain level, you know. I think today times are very different. There is much more competition. There are many more photographers. Everybody is a good photographer somewhere, you know. But the ones who I would say have a bigger history and who have a more more technique, you know, because you can do certain things that others will not be able to do. I mean, it's not easy to reproduce the sun when it doesn't exist. When it rains, it's not. There are certain things that you need the experience, you know, and you know that's what makes the difference of I would say a serious photographer and someone who can take great pictures, not only by chance, because you know it's easy to take a good picture, but when a brand or when someone wants very specific requirements for that picture, that's when you need somebody who has experience.
Basically, you came along in the era of the supermodel.
Yes.
How did you set yourself apart from your peers?
But that's what I was saying a little bit in the beginning, is that you try to differentiate yourself from other people and try to get noticed. And me, I think I got noticed because those pictures were very candid. There was not so much artifice, it was extremely natural. It was in daylight, close to windows, in bedrooms, in bathrooms. I did that out of the blue, just by myself. I didn't have money, so of course my team was very small, and I think that's what make it different. You know, it's like if you want to get noticed, you have to do something different. So either you have a strong idea, a strong project, and you go for it, or you try to do pictures which are different. I think everything has been done, but there's always a way to make something that people are going to notice because you present it a different way, or you have to have an idea. You have to do, you know.
Oh, who influenced you along the way? Like, who inspired you?
Well, you know, I was telling you that at a pretty young age, I was looking, you know, a lot of fashion magazines, especially being in Paris, French Elle, you know, Marie Claire, Vogue, 20 ans, Cosmo, and I think you get influenced by images that you like, and it's true that you know, Helmut Newton, Guy Bourdin, Herbrits at the time, Peter Lindbergh, you know, in his early years of Marie Claire and so on. It was photographers that I was very in awe of. You know, I was very admirative, and it's true that you know, you look at their images and say, wow, it's amazing, I'd like to do something there, and you develop your style through the years. You know, it doesn't happen in one day, it takes a lot, it takes time, you know. Yeah. But yeah, you're always influenced by people that you admire. You know.
What kind of qualities of traits does one need to basically organize a huge entourage or crew on a major campaign shoot?
I think everybody is different. You know, you have photographers who don't talk, who protect themselves, and I think you need, personally, I think you need a good amount of social skills, psychology. You need the help, you know, to do the best work. You need to be a good director. You need the help of, you know, the best hairdressers, the best makeup artists, the best stylists, the best creative directors. So it's a little bit like, you know, like a director of a movie in a much smaller scale. You know, it's just to try to get the best out of everyone for the project that you have to do. So you need the right cast, the right girl, the right model, or the right man. I mean, it's a casting. You need the best style for that special project. So it's just surround yourself with the best people.
What do you see different in the industry now than when you first started?
At the beginning, the fashion industry was dominated by a handful of people because you didn't have international editions of magazines. So basically you had the top photographers who were dominating the world. Then the magazine had to expand. They started to have, you know, Vogue Mexico, Vogue Brazil, Vogue Taiwan, Vogue China. Same thing with Elle, same thing with Marie Claire. Every magazine started to have other editions in different countries. So those different countries wanted to create their own content. So then they brought photographers from those countries. So then it created a competition for the leaders who were dominating Paris, New York, London, you know. And obviously some stand out and say, wow, this guy is not so bad, you know, he's a good photographer. Maybe he doesn't have the superstars of Hollywood or the supermodels, but so that was the first step to open the business to other photographers and also models who were coming from other countries, you know, Eastern European, Brazilians, there have been different stages. Then after that, it was obviously the internet, the digital, and more recently, Instagram, social media, where everybody's a photographer, the world has changed tremendously. You know, so it's not the same business. It's different. You just have to adjust and use the new tools of today, which are digital cameras, media. There's much more video content now. I think every photographer has to be a videographer also because we are, you know, everybody's required to do more video content. But it's interesting, you know, you have to evolve and, you know.
Do you have any advice for any photographers that want to jump into fashion photography?
I think you have to make sure that it's something you really want to do. You have to be passionate about what you do. You have to, I think it's key to either know someone in the business or to have a strong idea and a strong project, and you know, I think you have to love it, and then when you love what you do, you'll be happy, you'll be successful in your own way, and
You'll draw people to you.
And but I'll never say it's easy, you know, because.
Do you have any immediate future plans in photography?
I mean, now I'm here tonight with you in Vancouver. I'm going to New York tomorrow. I'm working in New York. Monday I'm doing a young actress from Los Angeles for Elle. I am going to Paris next week because it's Fashion Week. I spend a few days in Paris. Then I come back to New York. Then I have to go to Saint Barth because Saint Barth was hit by Irma, the hurricane, and I'm doing you know, photos for fundraising for Saint Barth, you know, and then I'll be back in New York and then Los Angeles again. So that's my immediate future.
I'd love to know any memories from the past, any like favorite shoots that you can recall, or any like favorite person you worked with?
I mean, you know, when you look, you know, I've been in the business for a few years now, and it's true that there is always certain period where you say, wow, this was amazing. You know, I think, you know, my first cover of French Elle with Stéphanie Seymour was definitely an important moment. Then I remember I did something with Claudia Schiffer, which was a cover of Photo, special top model. That was a big deal at the time for me, you know. Then a cover of Sports Illustrated with Rebecca Stamos. A cover of Spanish Vogue, that was, you know, a cover of German Vogue. I mean, there are certain things that you say, wow, I was, you know, very happy to work with Angelina Jolie and get so many covers of GQs at the time. There was a year where I got the cover of GQ, cover of Maxim, cover of Playboy, like in basically over a period of 3 months, you know. Yeah. So, you know, it makes you happy. Well, let's say, you know. But you always want more. You always want, you know, there are always things that you have not done that you would have loved to do, you know. And
okay, what's one thing that you want to do still?
No, I mean, at one point I really would have liked to photograph Sharon Stone. It didn't happen. But when I was young, I interviewed her on TV. You know,
oh, really?
I was a TV host when I was in my mid-20s. You know,
in Paris or?
In Paris, a little program. You know, but there is always people you want to photograph and it doesn't happen because schedules, because you know, and people have certain relationship with other people. But you know, c'est la vie. You always want more. Always want more.
Well, again,
great.
Thank you so much for having, you know, for being here, and it's great having you.
Thank you, Vancouver. My name is Antoine Verglas. What's your story, Vancouver?